My name is Kelsey Borsina, and I'm currently the president of Theta Lambda.
My name is Julia Andrani. I'm the second vice president and recruitment chair of Theta Lambda.
My name is Emily Havon, and I'm the community service chair for Theta Lambda.
Hi, I'm Brianna Stevenson, and I'm the first vice president.
So we held Chapter of Excellence last year as well, but we love to continually improve ourselves and improve our chapter, and we're always looking for new ways to do that. This semester, we each broke down different sections of what we think were our greatest achievements in our organization this year. I'm going to start in improving our sisterhood bonds internally. Last year, there was a lot of problems with sisters feeling out of place, and we decided to work on that internally and externally this year. I would take chapters out of the semester where we would have sisterhood circles, which was any kind of event that would make us more vulnerable with each other, but also make us feel safe in a safe space where sisters can air the problems that they have in their day-to-day life or with the organization if they think we're giving them too much responsibility, or if they are having trouble handling their academics and school, because we all do struggle with that from time to time when you've got a lot of things on your plate in the school, and then in sorority it's like, well, you got to go to this event, and you have this rush event, and this recruitment event. So they really fostered a relationship between the leaders in our organization and sisters who were new members who had just gotten in, who could kind of see, okay, well, these are how the leaders do it, or sisters who have been in for a while or anything like that, let me see what I can learn from them, and to better myself as a sister and to more equally manage my schoolwork and my sorority work. We also, through this, promoted leadership in our organization because our main goal is to have our sisters be leaders on the campus community as well as in the Greek life community, or the fraternity and sorority life community. In our organization, we never had a formal transitions program, so this semester I've been trying very hard from feedback of other presidents and president's council as well as our advisor Deb to create a formal transition program. It used to be, hey, meet with whoever had your position in the beginning, but not all of those meetings actually happened, and we were unaware of what meetings happened, so we kind of had a wild goose chase in the beginning of the semester of who does what, I don't know how I'm supposed to fulfill my position, and thankfully Allison was there to answer a lot of questions in the Greek life office. So this semester what we're going to do, and it's in the infancy stage, we're not sure how it's going to play out yet, but we hope that it will be positive and create positive outcomes in the future for our organization. Those who are new into a position after voting will sit down and have a formal meeting that has to be scheduled. And the president or the vice president will keep track of those meetings and make sure you're actually scheduling them before you have at least 2 weeks to do it before the end of the semester. And they will fill out a sheet together that'll ask various questions of the responsibilities of their position. And then before we have our formal ceremony of here's everything that goes with my position, binders and stuff like that, we will all meet the old and new positions and go over what they learned and that they did meet together. So it will take some time, and we understand that it's finals week, but it's also something that you must do because we don't want a sister not knowing what their responsibilities are for the next semester. And along with promoting leadership among our sisters, a lot of our sisters are a part of different clubs and organizations on campus that aren't in fraternity sorority life. We have sisters in the SA Senate, we have sisters who are on e-board of different clubs, and we want them to take on those positions because it's so important for us for them to have that footing in the campus community as well. And I almost forgot, we do future fraternal leaders every semester. We pick 2 of our new members or however many new members we're allowed to take that semester. And when they do go to future fraternal leaders, we bring them back into our chapter and have them talk to the other members and the other new members about what they learned and what they think that they want to bring back into our organization and try and help our organization grow. So we love the feedback that we get from different people that the Greek life community brings onto campus to tell us about.
Hi, so we attended a few showcases this semester. From the social aspect, we attended the social development showcase, and we also attended the risk management showcase as well. Some of the feedback that we received, we were told that at the risk management we focused more on alcohol. However, that was not the case. Last year We developed our risk management showcase, and we included resources that you could have regarding sexual assault. So we put in phone numbers just in case. We put the Stop Domestic Violence, which is our philanthropy, as well. We also put in the definition of consent and what the definition of sexual assault is. We also put in fire safety as well. So prior to any mixers that we have, we meet at a designated area. I go over if anything happens, such as a fire or any other emergency. We meet back at the location. I have a list of where sisters should be going after the mixer. We meet at that place and then we disperse. We also go over it in our new member education, the 5 weeks of new member education that we have, and we give them a copy of our risk management showcase. We also, not during new member education, but once they become new members, after they're initiated, we allow them to become sober sisters, and we have a mentoring program. So we have an older sister or myself come and we show them the ropes of how we can
How to be a sober sister.
How to be a sober sister, yes. We also created a lot of bonds this semester. We focused more on our sober events and our
You're doing great.
yeah,
We focused on our sober events with other organizations based off of the social development workshop that Julia actually did attend. They wanted us to focus more on sober events instead of just alcohol-based events because it's very important to get to know other Greek life members without the influence of alcohol in your system. So Julia, who is our social chair, planned 2 or 3 this semester, 3 sober events. One of them is with Theta Phi Alpha, another sorority on campus, and 2 of them were with fraternities on campus. One of them was who we are partnered with currently for Greek Week here on campus. We also focus on attending events that the community puts on. The school puts on Diversity Week every year, and to us it's very important to attend at least one event during that time. This year we chose the transgender event because although we did receive questions from a transgender woman here in Plattsburgh who was interested in joining our organization, she does not attend school currently at Plattsburgh. She is in Clinton Community College, so she could not join our organization, but it is something we had conversations with our members about because there is that possibility of, in the future, a transgender woman wanting to join our organization, and we pride ourselves on the diversity of our organizations. We have 2 sisters who come from overseas who are international students, and we don't want to exclude someone based on the fact that they're transgender. We want to accept all types of women as long as they meet and live up to the values that we hold as sisters. So we are really focusing or trying to focus on the diversity aspect, which I know the campus is also trying to focus on recently as well.
So even though I am community service chair this semester, I'm also going to be touching on philanthropy, but we'll start with community service. So our main goal is to have sisters complete 20 hours, and even though in the 4 pillars there's community service, it's also one of our personal values, and we are the only local org left on SUNY Plattsburgh, so we hold community service very close to our hearts. So this semester I tried to divide up a lot of, or at least give a lot of events, whether they be short time, and by short time I mean like one-time events like if you rake leaves or something like that through Project Help. And I also wanted to establish long-term events, so we were working with Elmore SPCA, and even though in Peru that's still in Clinton County, and they do a lot of work throughout Clinton County. So we helped them out with their annual fundraiser, and we raised over $1,000. And we also helped out with one of their adoption days with 7 animals found homes. And they were very grateful for us. They were saying that a lot of college students usually come once in a while for events here and there, but no one really stays with them, if that makes sense. So we were saying I really wanted to help make a bond, and we were featured in one of their newsletters, which was really sweet. And also there is an ice cream social in Oak Street School to help raise money for Elmore, and one of our alumni actually, she's a teacher there, and she was very happy to see Active Sisters coming out to show their support for the community. And we're still trying to, due to time conflicts, we were trying to do a joint service event with another fraternity or sorority on campus, and that's still in the process right now. We do have a plan to do something with Day of Caring with them, but I've already reached out to some other organizations for next semester, just to, even if I'm not service chair, just for everyone else who may want to be it, to have those to go to. And with philanthropy, our philanthropy is Stop Domestic Violence, and we've even improved just from last semester to this semester. Last semester we didn't really have any events, and we raised only $50, but this semester we've had 2 events. From dorm storming to a Chipotle fundraiser, we raised $433.11, and we still have another event coming up soon that's in the works that will get us some more money. And we also, in the future, we want to hold more educational things about Stop Domestic Violence, just to give people more of an awareness what their resources are. And we would like to try and work with Omega Phi Beta, who has a similar philanthropy to us as well. Okay. I think that's pretty much it.
So this semester we also made some attempts at changing our constitution. One of the bigger things was increasing our executive board GPA from a 2.5 to a 2.7, and that's in accordance with the Greek Life campus, which was, if I'm not mistaken, it's 2.3 to 2.5. That was the jump. So we increased ours, so on e-board you have to have at least a 2.7. We also made a rule that kind of every position has to have their program outlined at least a week before the semester begins, so that sisters can review it, question any expectations, like things that are expected of them, because we're expected to follow these, so it's always nice to know before you get to campus, like, oh, you're required to do this for study hours. So that's something huge that we've made an attempt to fix. Also, the limiting how long sisters can go voluntarily inactive. We're hoping to do this for limiting that a sister can go inactive only 2 semesters in a row voluntarily, just because we kind of want to decrease the amount of sisters who aren't really doing anything or pulling their weight. We want to increase sisterhood, sister involvement, and sisters' activities. We also have agreed to change our constitution to match the goals and responsibilities that our organization wants to uphold. We want people to think of us as involved on campus. So rather than in the past, our constitution was kind of stretched sometimes based on who was in charge of what met their needs and what they required people to do. So now we're hoping to change that and make it more firm and clearly outlined so that we know what sisters are required to do. Part of that is working to maintain and enforce accountability. So sisters aren't given preferential treatment anymore. Our president is held to the same standards for following rules as somebody who's a new member or somebody who doesn't hold a position. And then also for e-board and standards board, so my standards board is also my e-board, and it's very open. In the past, I know that they had a secret standards board, so none of the sisters really knew who was on standards and who wasn't. So having it open kind of allows us to get more feedback from sisters. And we really, if a situation arises, it's brought to me first, and then I bring it to my e-board. My e-board and I discuss possible learning consequences that we want the sister to have. And we decide on a learning consequence that's going to help the sister and support them in improving in the future. So for instance, if we have a mixer and somebody disrespects a sober sister, that's not okay. So they're brought to standards for that, and I bring it to my e-board, standards board, and we discuss a possible learning consequence. Sometimes it's they have to talk with our second VP about what's expected of them as a sober sister, because sometimes they don't know. So clearly outlining that for them, and then at the next mixer, they are sober and they're paired up with kind of a mentor, as she touched on earlier, that shows them the ropes of being a sober sister. This is what is expected of you, and you disrespected one of these people. So kind of showing them the other side of it, and how they can have an effect on that when they disrespect one. I think that's.
We're over our time, so.
to your last point about the standards board, if the standards board is the same as the executive board, then what do you do to make sure that general members feel comfortable addressing issues if they're not happy with the direction that the executive board is taking the organization? And let's say it's the president that may have violated a policy. How do you address that, knowing that you're filling those dual roles?
Knowing that it's the same. So I think in that situation, when I first present, like I said at the beginning of the semester, everybody sends their program. So I sent my program so everybody would know, okay, her standards board is going to be the same as her executive board. And I made it very clear that if anybody had any issues with that they could definitely come to me and we could talk about changing it. So if one of us, and we've had somebody on our e-board just didn't follow through with something that she was supposed to do, and she was taken to standards by a general member. The general member brought her to standards and knew that I would present the issue to my e-board. And I think that everybody on our e-board is pretty responsive.
We also, sorry not to cut you off, but if it is a person on e-board, so say I have a problem, I will be asked to step out of the e-board or the standards board meeting. So if I'm the one that's being brought to standards, I will either, if I do come, I will ask to remain silent and to listen to what's going on around me, and then I will have the opportunity to give my feedback, or I'm asked not to attend the meeting at all. And then they deliberate about what's happening without me in presence. And the person the general member who brings them to standards will know that I won't be at the meeting.
Right, and that's the same sort of policy where if a sister, like a general member, is taken to standards, they're welcome to attend the meeting, but they're asked not to say anything. They're asked for us to just kind of discuss it without their input, and then after they have the ability to give their feedback. So e-board members are treated the same way, sorry.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
I'd love to hear from each one, if you, what your proud moment has been for this last year. Just real briefly, what are you proud of this last year?
Individually, like what I've done? Well, being the president of this organization I've been in since my freshman year and I'm a senior now, so I've seen the organization grow for 4 years. So just being the president of a group of girls who have, in my opinion, improved such exponentially. I didn't touch on our GPA, but that was the proudest moment of my presidency, was watching our GPA increase from semester to semester, because I knew that the sisters who we empowered did that. So, and being able to be the president or representative of that organization kind of makes me cry and not want to leave, honestly.
Thank you.
This happened just recently. We recently just had our new members initiated, so we had a breakfast sort of thing with 5-year Delta, and their social chair texted me a few days later and he said, "Hi, I just want to let you know you are an absolutely fantastic group of girls. I'm so happy to have had this experience with you guys. You guys planned so well. You guys are really wonderful, great group of girls," and that just made my entire day, because that's what it's all about being. That's my chair, that's my social chair. So it was good to hear that positive feedback.
I just got recently in last semester, so this is my first, position in it, so I was really happy with it because community service is something I hold close to my heart. And just hearing the feedback from older sisters saying that this is the most community service opportunities that they've had in a while. So that was really happy for me to hear. Well over half of the girls are going to be able to complete the 20 hours just with all the opportunities that I've given them. And then everyone seems to be really enjoying the things that have been given to them, and even service opportunities they're finding on their own. So that makes me really happy to see.
I have a couple. For the first one, I'll just go with the easiest one, I guess. So when I first got in, I took the position of scholarship, where you keep track of everybody's study hours. We used to just record it on a piece of paper, but I spent my entire winter break creating an Excel sheet where everybody could just type in the time they started, the time they ended, and then it totaled everything for them. So it made it easier, so there wasn't an excuse not to do that. And then the following semester, I became first vice president. So a lot of sisters were getting taken to standards for not doing their study hours. That's also when our GPA dropped. So I worked with the scholarship chair to create a positive reinforcement system where sisters were constantly being like, "Hey, awesome job, you did this many study hours this week, that's great." Kind of incorporating the study hour system along with her positive reinforcement, our GPA raised so much, and I'm just so proud of that.
It went from a 2.65 in the fall semester average to a 3.0 in the 3.01.
Something.
No, that's our cumulative. Cumulative went to a 3.04.
Oh, right there,
Went from a 2.65 to a 3.01.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing. you all turn to on campus or in the community for support for new ideas or when you're, encounter challenges within the organization?
Personally, a lot of the times when we have a challenge, we go to our advisor, Deb, who's been our advisor for many years. So she knows, she's seen us progress from our worst, which there was some pretty bad years that she was our advisor, to what we are now. I know I don't have weekly meetings with Allison, but every time I have a problem, the first person I email is her to be like, hey, can you meet with me just so we can talk really quickly? We also have some local alumni around who are older than us, but who have gone through a lot of the same things that we have. So if there's a certain problem with the sister, we utilize them where I'll ask them, hey, did you ever deal with something like this? And she's like, yeah, we have. This is how we handled it. It might not be perfect for you, but it's a step in the right direction. So, and the showcases, we try and go to as many as possible because I think they give us some great ideas. And I love President's Council, just being able to talk to other presidents of other organizations. So.
Kind of answer the question I was going to ask, so I was going to give you my piece of feedback. I really appreciated hearing about your strive to create a better transition plan. I think it's something that not only fraternities and sororities, but it's a larger problem we see in student organization work, that students don't think about what's going to happen next, and so we really see students struggling to get into their roles because of the lack of transition planning. So I really appreciate that, and I also appreciated a lot of you talk about trans women and thinking of that piece as well as you move forward with your organization.
Any more questions? Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.